We're adding y'all in here. I accidentally disconnected my Instagram when I was messing around with the buttons, so I can share. I gotta log in. So let's just start talking about Instagram, and then I'll start talking about powder coating, and then I'll kind of try to link my Instagram. I think I accidentally deleted, and I got to log back in again. So I'll let everybody know. Technical difficulties.
They're always fun.
So Steve, welcome to the show. It's been freaking forever.
Yeah, it's over a year, I think.
Oh my gosh, more than a year, 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, it has
That
to
was
have
a
been
good
2 years.
show. I need to kind of review that show again because that was a good show. How's your lovely wife doing?
She is doing just fine.
Yeah. And you're recovering. And I just want to, Steve, I want to introduce you to Rob Berger. He's he does caliper coatings out of Arizona.
Okay.
How you doing, Steve?
Hello.
So Steve's got quite a story to tell. Gonna put you on the. We've been kind of getting bits and pieces. Steve owns Deep Stage Coatings, and I don't know how personal you can get with it, Steve, but do kind of share a little bit about your story if you can.
Well, let's see. On the morning of March 1st, I was scheduled to attend a local home show. I had a booth set up, but I didn't have to be there until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I thought, I've got these small parts for a really good customer that I just want to knock out real quick and have them done and ready for him. So I walked out to the shop and turned the lights on and kicked the oven on so it could preheat while I blasted these parts. For most people, my shop is in a detached building on my home property. So I have
Mine too.
whole 20 yards of commute. So
Yeah, great, isn't it?
it's wonderful. Although I've become a hermit, I don't get out much. But anyway, about 7:30 in the morning, I went out and started. And while the oven was warming up, I walked outside because my wife wanted me to get something out of her car for her. And so I opened the trunk and I got the 2 boxes off and set those out of the car. And couldn't have been outside 5 minutes. Walked back in the shop to open up the overhead door because I had some things that were in the car that had to go inside. And I smelled smoke and I looked over near where my oven was and I saw fire. And things kind of a blur after that.
Oh my God. It seemed like it happened really fast too.
It did. Like I said, I was outside 5-7 minutes. My immediate thought was that the oven had started it because that's where I saw the flames.
Okay.
It turns out it wasn't the oven after all, but I grabbed a fire extinguisher and went over to where the source was and tried to extinguish it, and that didn't work. So I ran outside of the shop and reached for my phone to call the fire department. I didn't have my phone, which in hindsight, I'd thrown it on the workbench when I went to get the fire extinguisher.
Right.
I didn't realize that until after the fire department was done. Ran to the house, yelled to my wife to call the fire department, grabbed another fire extinguisher, ran back to the shop. And by the time I got there, the lights had gone out, the electricity was out, the smoke was so thick I couldn't take 2 steps inside. And at that point, I just kind of closed the door and waited for the fire department to come.
Oh no!
It seemed like it took 9 hours for them to get there. In reality, it was like probably 15-20 minutes tops.
How far are you from town, or like is that why it took so long, or is it like
Yeah, we have a rural property. We're about 7 miles outside of the city limits. And then we're kind of tucked in off of the road unless somebody actually, I give somebody instructions and they know where to look. You can't see the house or the shop from the roadway.
Right.
But they did respond fairly quickly, both from Martinsville, Indiana, which is the town, and then there's another small incorporated town that's about 6 miles away. Had a volunteer fire department, and they sent people up as well.
Oh my gosh.
By 10 o'clock, they were gone and everything was out, and then I was left with the mess to deal with. So it all happened pretty quick, but here I am, 2.5 months later, and yesterday,
were they able to identify the source?
It was electrical in nature, but the cause and origins investigator couldn't actually pinpoint the actual source.
That is so
I had a couple motorcycle batteries on tenders that were in that area, and while we were digging to find the source, I did not find either of the tenders. So that's kind of my guess, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, our statement of loss totaled almost $150,000.
Oh,
how much?
man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Almost $150,000 in market value, and it was 16 pages long.
The photos I saw online just looked horrible. I mean, it seemed like it kind of was somewhat contained, like the whole building wasn't gone, but like
No.
the important stuff was.
Yeah, well, what the fire and the smoke didn't damage. The fire department was so kind to make sure that they, showered with hundreds of gallons of water. So, all my equipment was lost.
Yeah.
My GEMA, the spray booth, because they soaked it down and ruined the motor for the fans. And of course, the oven was right there. And so it took, I don't know how many thousands of gallons of water that they spray.
Well, I'm still trying to log into.
And of course, a bunch.
Just shout out to everybody. I'm still trying to log into my Instagram. I confused Meta just now because I thought I could do both Instagrams, but I think it's just freaking out now. So I don't know if we'll be able to go log in on Instagram, but I'll just share it with everybody. I started a new group and a new channel or a new Instagram. So just shout out to everybody that's joining us. Kier from Big Dipper. And we've got Rags and To Riches. We've got Row in there. Yeah. So just want to say thanks for coming on and stuff. I appreciate it. I'm just still trying to figure out what I did. I probably did too many clicky things. So so Rob, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody on the show and tell us what you do, what you did this week. I know you did some things. I kind of assisted you with that, but like, how long have you been coding and stuff like that?
Well, my name's Rob Berger. I'm in Arizona. I've got a business called Caliper Coating Rehab. Primarily, I deal with brake calipers. And I go a little bit further than just recoating them. I can test them. I can rebuild or fix the flares on crossover tubes. I can build new crossover tubes. A little more on the mechanical side of them also. I do Cerakoting as well on a lot of the castings. And I got into this. I started this in 2019. I've got a lot of history in mechanical design and engineering and fabrication and things like that. I'd actually played with powder coating when I discovered it, like as a teenager. I had a boss at the time who mentioned it. I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. And a few years later, I think that Eastwood came out with the shaker gun, So that was, but 25 years ago, there wasn't any information really on it unless you were a pro and had all the big stuff. nothing compared to today. So I just had a need to get some work done on my car, and I thought, well, I've got a pretty good full-time job with I basically work half the year, so I started building this business, um, with a 7 on, 7 off schedule, and just been working at it since then.
And so you reached out to me after a live show, and we you were having I want to kind of talk about a couple things on social media just for briefly, and then we can get more into powder coating. But like some of the problems, it's hard to get people to like the posts that you make. You seem to be kind of stabbing in the dark at first. And you're trying to drum up some more business. So tell us about some of the problems you've been having lately with your business, marketing it, I guess, right?
Yeah, marketing is definitely not my strong point at all. I just rather be in here doing the work. So
Yeah.
I have tried a lot of things from, Google ads, Facebook ads, trying to make posts to grab attention here and there. I've done the car show thing, and that was not worth it. I walked around, just handing out business cards, contacted local businesses, machine shops. I figured actually I would branch out and try to do more general powder coating rather than staying so specific. And I didn't get, I got a few hits, but nothing that, would allow word of mouth to take off, I don't have that email I sent you in front of me. I kind of broke everying down, and
Yeah,
there
you
was
did.
a lot of things. There was a lot of things that I tried, and not everything, of course, but yeah, and it's been a struggle. Now, the area I'm in has been growing, but so I figured it'd be a real good location to have a business like this, especially since we're so close to power plants. We have a lot of power plants about 30 miles west of us, and I used to work in that industry as well. And just trying to get in with like more on the thermal barrier coating side and everything, and it's a tough nut to crack, and I'm still struggling with it. But I think the only way you can truly fail, is if you give up. So, and I'm not about that.
Yeah, let me bring up that what we spent. Did you know that we spent 3 hours on the phone?
Yeah, I did.
After I hung up, I went, oops.
No.
My husband's like glaring at me going, aren't you supposed to be billing somebody right now? And I'm like, yeah. But it's always great to talk about it, because you say you're not good at this stuff, but then you look at your email and it was so organized, right, about what you do and everything like that. So I don't know if you used AI to write me a letter or not, but
that's how I do things. I'm a report writer, an Excel generator. I'm a very structured, symmetrical. Everything's got its place. The drawers are organized in the shop. I mean, there's no mess.
Yes. And it is a bit daunting because you don't know where to start, right? So you've done advertising on Facebook, business pages, posts and reels. I'm just reading off your list here. You've done Google ads and Yelp. We're going to talk about that. Set up booths and car shows. Yep. Set up your website. It's a nice website.
I'm working on that, by the way.
Yeah, but it's a landing page. Done jobs for free. Yeah, that's a good start. Attempt to branch out to general powder coating. Nothing, no interest. Lettered my truck. Contacted various local manufacturing shops, auto shops. Yep. Yeah. Listen, those are exactly the things you need to do, right? And so I just want to say, like, you're not doing anything wrong at all. Those are exactly the things that you need to be doing. You just need to kind of put the accelerator on certain pedals, right? Of all those pedals, those are some of the pedals that you need to put on. So, but yeah, we talked about just how to schedule a post or how to do a post. And 9 times out of 10, when I see people posting, they're not using hashtags at all. And it's you have to, and you have to use the right ones, right? So some of we've had shows where Danielle Miller's been on. She's kind of our in-house one, but she usually comes on the show, but she's so busy now it's hard to get her on. But oh, hey John, do you want to let me give you the live stream where you can join. I think I sent it to you, but just use that link instead. But I think here, let me copy this. If anybody wants to join the stream, come on in. This is what you need. That's the link you need. It's just sending it now. You might need to download as a guest. I'm not sure, in the App Store. Yeah, so that way you can join the panel. But anyways, yeah, so it's a whole like checkbox kind of thing that you have to do on top of creating the content, right? So,
right. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. But it's always good to kind of, right? Yeah. And get stuff done. And I know that's why my husband's working so diligently on a Friday. He's like he's super grumpy today. He's beyond grumpy at this point. He's just downright nasty to people. Like this guy has something on, he put on his, what is that? What's this? The plate they put on the truck before, like it's a guard. It's a guard,
like a
right?
Skid plate?
Skid plate. That's it. He drove up. He contacted us last week, and I tried to determine whether the guy said it's new, but it's on the truck. And I'm like, it's either in the box or it's on the truck. It's not in between. And it's, of course, he just installed it, but the guys, who knows how long the guy's been talking, been driving around with the truck, he's like, well, I thought you said if it was new, you could just go right over it. I'm like, well, yeah, technically, but I can't believe what's, what you're saying and how long it's been on the truck. But anyways, he's just like kind of said $400 and then just literally walked away from the guy. So I don't know. I just don't have patience for people that want to just, want a deal or something. I don't know what it is they want. They want a deal. So, but yeah, I think what you're doing is good. You do need regional hashtags. You do need, and you need to go and look at other people's stuff. So you need to know what those regional hashtags are, because that's going to get you locally placed. You do need to kind of put your area or location in there. So, do that button as well. And tagging influencers. It's great to tag customers because they can always share your post that you did, but you want to tag people that have more followers than you. And that's why I told you to reach out to that guy that was like the lead guy. Did you do that?
Yeah, I did.
And what did he say?
You mean on the last video?
Would
you said to reach out to
no, the
Scott.
guy that was talking about car shows in Arizona.
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. So it's good to kind of, utilize people that are already ahead of you. Yeah. So, but I did see you do have, and you're doing a nice mix of like branded content that is just projects you've done with flashy videos. CapCut is a good one to use. Just your own reels, getting used to using reels, and then doing your informational ones. So I think you're doing a nice mix up to kind of garner, all kinds of people. So I think you just need to keep doing it, right?
Do more, right?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to hit the 10 by the end of the month.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to join us, if you've just joined us, come on the show. I know some of you are still working or busy from the week. I'm just going to kind of pop that up there. you can join us direct and join Steve and Rob here in the studio. And, you know, come say hi. Tell us what your week was like, you know. Tell us your problems. I'll tell you my problem. It was candy gold. It bit me in the ass, and now it's biting my husband in the ass. It was a light fixture that the lady came in and wanted to match the knob, and she chose candy gold. But then, it was already a powder coated piece, and so we were going off of the showroom sample. But then when Ross went to powder coat it, because it was kind of thicker, and he had some sharp edges to go around, so he was trying to avoid that, and in doing so he kind of went heavy in other areas, and it turned out more orangey than goldy, and of course that didn't match at all at that point. So would have been better off just going with a single stage gold that was close, instead of trying to get that reflective anodizey look out of that she was trying to go for with some tiny ass knob. So don't do that. Yeah. So Steve, getting back to you, like where are you at on that? So you've been down. And
Yeah.
what's the timeline then? Can you share that with us?
Mostly down. I have a friend who has a fabrication shop about 25 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
They build.
Because you're a busy guy. You got a lot of clients.
Yeah. And thankfully, a lot of them are sticking by. A lot of them are just saying, hey, you just tell me when you're up. I'm in no hurry. But my friend has a fabrication shop. They build motorcycle transport trailers. And they've got a big oven, 10 by 10 by 20, that they use for the trailers, and very, very little experience with powder coating. I was kind of introduced to him when they first started, and he really didn't know anything about it. He had just gone to a Powder X class and bought a bunch of equipment and said to his former head painter, you're the powder coater now.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they started drinking from the fire hose.
Oh boy.
And so in the year and a half or so that they've been in operation with their powder side, he's called me and asked questions and things like that. And but as soon as he heard about the fire, he called me that evening and said, anything, you know, if you need to coat stuff,
Nice.
you can come down and coat. So yesterday was the first time I was actually free enough. I had 3 jobs, some lawn furniture, just the expanded steel wrought iron stuff, table and 4 chairs, couple of pieces for a local glazer, and a little motorcycle frame that I had prepped, and I went down there, and their powder coater was actually delivering trailers in Texas. So the owner, my friend, was the guy that was going to do the powder coating. And now he is a brilliant man. He really is. Masters in mechanical engineering and all kinds of stuff. But he didn't really know what he was doing. He just, I just pull the trigger and point, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
You can.
And so he started spraying.
Yeah.
He started spraying, and this cloud just enveloped this whole trailer bed. And this is like a 16-foot by 8-foot trailer bed. And this cloud it kind of disappeared in the cloud. And I looked it over at their gun. They're using a Gema Pro. And I looked at the settings and I said, that's not right. But I don't have a Gema Pro. I had an older Gema. And so I wasn't really sure about the air settings. So I texted another friend and I said, hey, where are you at for initial coats on air settings on your Pro? He says, I'm usually about 35 and 3.5. And I looked over at the screen and they're at 100.
Oh.
Wide open throttle. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
So
my
we got
gosh.
got his gun dialed in, and I spent about an hour or so showing him how to do flat panels, and ended up coating a whole bunch of stuff for him. And then once he was done, then he just handed it over to me, and I pulled out my powder and all my pieces and had everything hung. And boy, I tell you what, when you can put 3 different jobs on 2 different racks in one oven and cure them all at the same time, that's pretty awesome. I
Oh my
wasn't used to
God.
being able to do that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I knocked them out fairly quick yesterday. So I'm a powder coater again, kind of.
Oh my gosh. That's great. Yeah, that's good. And then to get back to where you were before, are you like a year out because of the insurance dragon,
No,
or what are you gonna do?
no, I should. I'm not positive on the timelines, but we submitted all of our insurance paperwork. Um, and my agent, who's a real close personal friend, um, he's kind of, I'm going to say, held my hand through this and kind of told me what to expect. And he says
Mm-hmm.
it'll take them probably a week and a half or 2 weeks, and then you'll get your first settlement checks. Now, my policy, thanks to my friend, was full replacement policy, not just market value.
Right.
So my first checks will be at market value, and then as I replace things and submit receipts, then they will pay the difference. So one big lesson that I've learned for everybody that's listening: if you do not have insurance on your shop, or you're wondering whether you have adequate coverage on your shop, then go see your local agent. Don't go to buy Burks any place online. Find somebody local that you know and
Yeah.
trust. Take your policy and go over it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind everything that you've got in that building and what you may need to have to replace, and make sure that you are covered adequately. In my case, I was. My commercial insurance didn't do much for me, but I didn't have coverage for contents. But I chose that because I had coverage on the homeowners as well. So
Yeah.
there was no sense in paying for the same coverage in 2 different companies. But yeah, make sure that you've got good coverage. make sure.
This is why I wanted you on the show, Steve. Just for those golden nugget words right there. Um, you know, it's funny because like the whole time before the fires, and we're not near the fires, right? The Lahaina fires. Like I'm finally live, by the way, on Instagram on my Ross coat. So I'm just gonna do a little shout out and say I'm finally live. So yeah, I had this weird. Well, first of all, we were in the midst of negotiating a new lease or a renewal of our lease. I think it renews in July or something, and it was, we were trying to go for a longer term. And it was something about it. I don't know what it was. And I just said fire, like fire. I need to renew. If I'm renewing this lease here, I need to review my coverage, because I remember seeing something about, and this is the hard part about it is that you don't want to overpay. I think people are always worried about overpaying, or they've got a budget they want to keep in, they can only afford so much. And I didn't want to overpay, but then I also saw something in last year's policy where it only covered like $20,000 worth of equipment. And I'm like, oh, hell no. We've got like way more equipment than that. Right.
Mhm.
And so I had Ross write down, especially since we just bought a Benco strip tank and, we're paying insurance on that already. It's kind of built into the price, but, it only covers for damages that the thing makes or something like that. I don't know, I think it just covers for that. But I just was thinking $20,000. No way. There's thousands and thousands of dollars, way more than that. So I had him write down everything that we bought over the years, and he wrote it all down, and so I submitted it to my lady. I've had my lady for a long time, but she's a little, I hate to say this, she's a little on the kooky side because she kind of doesn't really like, she'll get back to me, but it seems like she's really busy, right? When she gets back to you and stuff, like, so I don't ever go. I've never met the woman, to be honest with you. I've been paying for like 20 plus years and I've never met the woman. So, but obviously we've had this relationship for a while and stuff. So, yeah. And business insurance is way different than like personal insurance or other. Commercial rates tend to be higher. So anyways, that's just we ended up getting an extra policy, especially after the fires, just because I was so paranoid about fire. So we upped the original policy limit to 150,000 and then bought an additional, which I probably shouldn't have done, but like I just wanted to sleep good at night. So I bought an additional $150,000 equipment policy for like another $700, $700 or $800. So we already pay probably pretty high compared to what you guys are paying, but like, well, you guys work at home, right? So it's hard to kind of talk exact for commercial rates, but we're paying about, I want to say it's 2,800, maybe 20, almost 3,000 for insurance here in our shop's only like 1,500. So I think it's based on square footage.
Yeah.
And I always think, well, it's called Scottsdale Insurance Company, which I've never heard of, but they're obviously out of Arizona. Have you heard of them too?
Yeah, I have.
I know where Scottsdale is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe they are in Scottsdale. I don't know.
I've been to Scottsdale many times. I used to work the Barrett Jackson events.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to call out all these slackers here. You're not joining me on my live. I started a chat on my new channel on Instagram, or new chat channel. And everybody's over there talking up a storm. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, we're live. Come on over and enjoy us, right? Maybe I can drop in the live link. Maybe that's what I can do. So, but everybody's hearing us, and we've got some other people on other channels too. So, Luke from Highland Powder Coating, thank you for joining us. He's always there. Here we go. Big Dippers over on Instagram now. I just want to say happy Friday. I'm glad that it's just like powder coating has been intense lately. I don't know about you guys, but it just seems like if it's not just hard jobs, difficult jobs, I don't know. Like, we had a guy last Friday try to drop off a job. Ross went home early. He shows up in this flatbed, and I'm looking at I should probably bring out the estimate. I'm looking at the estimate, and I'm looking at what he's dropping off. And we knew this was coming down, but they didn't tell us exactly when or where. I'm just pulling out the bid because it's just too funny. Okay, so the guy shows up months ago, the welder, and he's got this bid. Now, mind you, we have bidded over $150,000 with this guy. Not even like 3% of the stuff have we done.
Oh, one of those. You're a quoting source.
Well, he's been around for a long time, and I'm not sure what exactly he's all about, but I think he tries. So I have two bids here. This is ours, and this is his. Now, this is a copy he brought in the day before he wanted to drop it off. And our price is the same. It's the identical estimate, but the drawings on this one, which is the one that he dropped off to let us know that he's got this job and he's dropping it off, are different from the day that he drew it in front of Ross. And they're more than it. He had to. Ross was telling him he has to break it down into like this section here has to be different than because it won't fit right than this section here. So it's going to come down in 2 pieces, which is fine. There was 2 pieces, but the width is 3 feet 6 inches because we have a linear oven. It's real skinny. It's skinny. It's 5 feet. It's 5 feet, but you know, we have the elements inside there, which is like 2 inches, right? Poking in. And then, which is fine with a rack, you know, but, and then it comes, you know, so we were basing it on this drawing. It comes 4 feet. It's 4 inches wider and it's made out of steel. The thing weighs a freaking ton. It's 8 feet high, 4 feet wide. It's just a giant rectangle box, you know, or frame. This thing is so huge, and I can't even read the rest of these, but it's for a restaurant and stuff. And they couldn't even, like, they needed the extension forks just to get it into the flatbed. So we couldn't even get it into the blast room to blast it because they made it out of steel. I'm like, it was heavy enough. Wouldn't you want to make it out of aluminum? And it's for this restaurant that's probably on the water or for a resort. And I don't know, I think it's for patio furniture. You know, they're going to stack the rack the patio furniture, you know, maybe the chase lounges or something in there. I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't make sense. I even told the guy that was trying to deliver it, I'm like, how is the contractor even going to get it installed? It weighs a freaking ton, and you need this extended fork, and they're putting it in a restaurant. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't even make sense at all. So anyways, that was the start of last week, or the end of last week, but it was also the start of the week in terms of like the frustrations that we've had with, you know, jobs lately. It's like nobody's listening. I don't know. So
Yeah,
but
they don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
Some of them get it and some of them don't.
There was a poor guy that showed up at the shop I was at yesterday that he brought in an old, I don't know, 78, 79 Yamaha 125 dirt bike frame and forks, or not forks, but swing arm. And apparently there was a big communication gap on what he needed to do. And it still had all the bushings in it, bunch of screws in it. Kickstand was still attached, bunch of electronics still hanging off of it. And, you know, I kind of had to, and I don't speak any Spanish. And this guy was Colombian. We got along really well because we're both motorcycle people, but we had to do it through translator app. But I was just showing him all the things that he needed to take off. Well, he brought in the hubs too, and they still had the bearings in. And I was looking at the owner of the shop, and I said, "Is this something you can do?" And I said, "Come on, you're a mechanical engineer. You know how all this stuff works." And he said, "Man, I don't want to touch that shit." I said, well, at my shop, I could have done it. I said I would have charged him for it, but I would have done it. But you know, I didn't feel like sitting there, you know, telling him how to take everything off either. So, and this guy, I don't know. I kept telling him I didn't work there.
Yeah.
You know. And I had to walk off for something. The next thing I know, he was taking the stuff off the pallet and putting it back in his car, and he drove away. And it was like,
I know.
This is weird.
we don't wrench. We don't wrench. We're too busy powder coating. We don't wrench.
Right.
Anyways, so we've got I can never SC8 skates powder coating. I don't know why I can't read that. Skates powder coating joined us live on our channel, and Roro has joined on our Instagram channel as well. Big Dipper, Kier, and you guys are in Alaska. 209 Finest Powder Coating too. Thanks so much for joining us. We're just rapping about powder coating business. And while I'm at it, I do want to kind of bring attention to back to social media for a moment, because there's a tremendous opportunity. Just give me a second here. I gotta bring it up on her website. Danielle has I attend Danielle Miller's from Miller Media Management. I attend a lot of her webinars. She talks about all kinds of different subjects, and she's so good at everything. She's really smart, and she's got a new. I just wanted to make an announcement just because I get it in the email. But let me go to my email here and bring up the website. She's got a webinar coming up that is going to be about, where'd it go? Danielle Miller. Why can't I find it? Oh, yeah, maybe Miller Media. Well, I'll go to my channel here. Hold on. I put it up on my calendar, the podcast calendar. So let me pull that up. And I'll talk about that too here while I'm at it. So let me present this screen here, share screen. Because when you go over to my calendar or you subscribe to the calendar, then you can kind of see all the open events and stuff that we have. Like, for instance, I've got today's open mic night live. This is at luma.com or lu.ma, Powder Coder Podcast. It's in my profiles, the podcast calendar. So just head on over to my Instagram or Facebook profiles. You'll find it there. Anyways, I've got a new episode, how to build your team into a tribe, working on editing that. It's going to be dropping this week. I love Tanner. Tanner is joining me on this show. He is talking to him is like, you talk to him for like an hour and a half and it seems like 5 minutes. So yes, it is a long episode, but we're talking about trust building with your team or just customers too. Like we were talking about customer team building as well. And some of the trouble, when you have communicating, sometimes, if you are having a problem communicating, maybe it's you, maybe it's your customer, you don't know. So we kind of talk about team building and also talking and troubleshooting with communication with customers. But here's the one I wanted to talk to you about today. Let me see, open event page. This is called Decode the Trend, How to Spot and Replicate Trending Reels. So she's all about, it's going to be a 2-hour event. She's all about getting you exactly what you need in order to be relevant and get those likes and followers, or get that viral video going. So she's going to be talking about that. You can click over here to register now. I'll put the link in the chat and sign up for it. I think there is if you click the link and it takes you to the page, because this goes right to her page. I'm not making any money off of this. Just go to her page, and she's got an early bird pricing, I think. And it's called Early Bird, and you get $50 off. So you can redeem with coupon. There you go. So you have to sign up pretty quick, though. There's 50 spots left. So let me pop that in the chat so that you guys can see it. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Stop sharing. And go sign up. It's going to be an excellent, everything. I have learned so much from her. Like she just did one that, oh wait, why did it do that? It should go to the, here, I'm going to share this tab instead. Here we go. So you click this register now and it'll take you directly to her page. So just hit the button in this link that I just shared with you. It's in my calendar. You can sign up to follow my calendar as well. And she has an early bird. When you click through it, you'll get the early bird pricing. and she's going to be talking. Let's go into what she's going to be talking about. Uh, you're going to be learning how to understand the impact of Instagram algorithm on Reels visibility, because there's some new releases on Instagram. As always, you have to kind of keep up with whatever they're doing over there, and you have to, kind of capture when they're putting out new features or doing new changes. You want to be able to grasp those and take advantage of them. Develop strategies for effectively spotting trending reels within your niche. That's key, because we are definitely niche in powder coating. Learn key components of successful reels and how to incorporate them into your content. Discover effective methods for replicating and remixing trending reels for your brand. And prioritizing your time investment and maximizing results by focusing on high impact reels creation. Rob, I'd say sign up for that.
Yeah, I've been taking some notes. I'm just trying to find it.
Yeah, I just popped that link in the chat here. I'll pop it in again.
Is it?
It's in the chat on
The new chat or this chat?
there's on the sidebar here, there's comments. If you go over there, you're
I
on
got
your
it.
phone. I'm not sure if you can see comments on your phone or not, but if not, I can email it to you as well. Hey, Andy, welcome to the show. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about insurance coverage with Steve, who's unfortunately his shop burned down a few months ago, and how he's dealing with that. We're talking about social media. We're talking about difficult customers that bring you the wrong shit and don't tell you that there's been changes to the job and now you can't do the job. I never heard back from the guy yet. He seemed a bit overwhelmed at the time. So, and we've got a new podcast coming out Wednesday talking about trust. So with Tanner Lyons from a company called Demco. I met him on the last day of powder coating week, and this guy is so easy to talk to. He's such a leader, and he's so humble too. So I think you're going to really appreciate. And him and I kind of get personal. We kind of share some stuff. So please stick around to the end. There are some excellent nuggets at the very end of the show, which I wish were kind of more at the beginning, but it's a long and winding road when we talk, right? We never really know what we're going to talk about until we start talking about it. So please do watch that show. The current episode that is out and dropped this week was an interview with Kevin Corson from Powder Coating Institute on what we covered, what was covered in Powder Coating Week 2024. There's some kind of interesting topics there too, because there I know a lot of people think that the Powder Coating Institute isn't really for custom coaters, but there is some things in the background and in the works that maybe because I keep bugging them about it, I don't know, could be. But they surprised us on the first day at the Custom Coater Forum, which is just one day reserved for custom coaters. The rest is technical, which I don't know why they have to separate it, but whatever. And they're going to be coming out with a supervisory class, which goes beyond 101 and 202 classes for powder coating. So we kind of talk about a lot of different things that are very interesting and critical to sort of a sea change going on in powder coating. Whether it's people moving more into the trades and getting out of, so hopefully maybe some of the employment problems that we've had in the past, if you do have more than one person in your shop, can be overcome. So, but we've talked about lots of different things. So please go listen to that show. It's a great show. It's probably the best show I've ever done with Kevin. He's been on the show many times before. He always says yes to me. And I really enjoyed it. We had some technical difficulties, so I had to do a lot of editing because his thing kind of just started cutting out on him, Wi-Fi. So, but I did a pretty good job of editing. And also, I just want to kind of share with you, like, we have a new show with Jim Kunkel, and there's Jim right
Oh
there.
yeah.
It's powder coating, like it's kind of in the news. It's called In the News with Kim and Jim. And sometimes after you've been you've been doing a podcast for a while, it's not that you get bored, but you want more out of your podcast, I guess. And I just wanted to do something different than just a standard interview type one. So I decided to start a show with Jim Kunkel, who's has his own show called Coatings Talk. He has so many different people on his show from all kinds of industries that talk about coatings and stuff like that. And so we kind of combine once a month. We'll pull out three or four different articles that kind of speak to us, and we'll cover things like EVs. We kind of cover things like right to repair, which is very on topic for powder coaters, especially guys in their garage or otherwise, small business. Um, Talk about some of the other, what are AI? We talk about AI. There's a whole slew of topics that we talk about in that show. So please go support that show. We just do it once a month. And let us know what you think of the show too. Like if it would be in smaller chunks or one long hour-long show is better. I don't know. We're just trying out new content, I guess. So thanks for joining us today. Let's see what else we got. Andy, yeah. Sorry, we kind of was supposed to go live on Instagram, but I managed to kind of miss that opportunity. I confused Meta. It's very easy to confuse Meta, isn't it? So
Well, Meta's confused. So
yeah,
Yeah. There you
me and
go.
me and Meta don't get along very well.
That's putting it nicely.
I had the dangest time trying to connect my powder coating, like powder coater show page to my Instagram account. I don't know why. I kept saying it wasn't part of it or something like that. So but yeah, head on over to the link there that I provided for Luma. It's this Luma link. It's for Danielle Miller's new um, it's like a 2-hour Q&A and live session with her. You're not going to be disappointed at all. And I think she has an early bird coupon code in there where you can get $50 off. So I just wanted to kind of share that and promote my good friend because she's helped me so much over the years. Everything that I do in Instagram or Facebook, I have learned from this woman. So she
I'll
is,
check it out for sure.
yeah, she's definitely the person I go to if I have a question about anything. And now I'm sharing things with you, Rob, and sharing with other people that are trying to understand how to learn to post on social media because it's not easy. It's ever challenging and ever changing.
It's a learning curve, that's for sure.
Yeah. And while I'm at it, let's bring up, it's been a while. I want to bring up, it was like was it episode 17? I'm going to share, it's going to be hard to dig that podcast out that we did with your lovely wife. What's your wife's name? I forgot now. It's been so long. Steve, you and I did a show with your wife. I don't know if Steve can hear me. Can you hear me, Steve? He can't.
a little bit, bits and
Oh,
pieces.
okay. You might have might be some Wi-Fi issues and stuff. Was going to pull up the podcast I did with you and your wife way back when.
Yeah, that's back when I was still driving a truck.
I know. My gosh, that's right.
Yeah, I retired in November of 21 and started the shop full time after that.
That's
So,
right. So it's been a couple years.
yeah, it has.
Okay. I'm just gonna, it's easier for me. I need the podcast kind of needs its own. I have a website for it, but like managing it is not easy because it's hosted by the platform that I use. So it's sometimes easier for me just to go on the back end and and uh and find the episode I'm looking for than it is for me to go and search the homepage. Um it was like the episode like it was like
Probably
episode
within the
15.
first 15 or so, probably.
Yeah, it was in the
It,
first 15, I think.
it,
Episode 15 sounds about right.
it's 17. You mentioned that, and that's
My
is it called?
17.
Are you a money
Yes.
maker or breaker?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
I got it
it.
up here.
Okay. Um yeah, was gonna go to the episode list. Where we go. Uh that was so many moons ago. But that was a good show. Um hold on, I'm pulling it up on my end so you can
I
view
don't think
it.
I
Share and
saw
embed.
that one. I'll have to watch that one.
It's so good to see these episodes because I think we're going to kind of take a bit of a hiatus over the summer because, people get busy, right? And it gets it's hard to get people because they're on vacation and stuff. It's hard to get people to get in, do interviews over the summer. So I just kind of chill out and take a break. So let me see if I can copy. I'm just trying to share the page, and I don't know why it's so hard to share the damn page. Oh, well. Okay, I'll share this page. It's not the ideal page that I was looking for, but
Yeah, maybe I can.
Yeah, John, is clothing optional? Are you trying to join the show? Sure, yeah, clothing's optional. I know you're trying to get If not, I'm out. Okay, well, there you go. Now I'm blushing. Okay. If you guys are listening to the show, come on and enjoy the show. You can come on to the live here on Facebook, Instagram. We're live now on Instagram, thank God, on my @Rosscoat. And about ready to share a screen here on the episode that we did with Steve Schilling way back when. Here we go. This isn't
That's
even
probably
the
really
nice page.
embarrassing.
It's not a nice page. I don't like this page. This is not how I'd want to see my episode, but because I'd rather go to the direct. Maybe I'll just Google it. Jeez. Come on, Podbean. Do a better job on that page. Here we go. This is the better page. I don't even know. What did we talk? We talked about money because your wife is a financial accountant, right?
Yes.
And we talked about, managing the financial side. Aren't you glad you're married to her now after the fire?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I mean, she kind of put you in you guys were in a good, you had the insurance and everything, and that's what insurance is for, right?
But since I haven't been able to work in the shop, I've had to help her with the gardens this spring. So
Yes, I know. Yes, I see you talking about your gardens these days.
oh, we're gonna be eating well.
Yeah, I bet.
We were out picking strawberries this morning. So
I've got one tiny strawberry, and it had two little and then something happened and they died. I don't know what I did. It's been either raining really, really hard where I live, or it's just been hot as heck. So it's like not really good ideal weather for strawberries, I'd imagine. But she's a QuickBooks expert, and we talked. What did we talk about? That was so long ago. I need to
I don't even
re-listen to
remember.
stuff.
I think it was more from her side, really. I just
It was,
kind of
yeah.
sat there and inserted comic relief time in here and there.
You did. Well, we just wanted to see your beautiful face, and she's pretty as well. And it was so good because we had literally just launched the podcast. I know episode 17 seems like a lot. We were in a lot, but I'd done a lot already. And but we hadn't talked about, oh yeah, how to track money generation. Are you a money maker or a money breaker? So I think we talked about using or utilizing you know, programs that you can use to, how do you track your money, right? You know, 'cause she uses
Right.
QuickBooks and stuff. So it wasn't exactly how to use QuickBooks exactly, but it was like, you know, it's important to have some sort of tracking system on there. So go follow it on YouTube. I'll pop that in the chat. It's a good one to know and watch and stuff. I can't believe we've done 70 episodes, you guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Here's the link. It's yeah, I think there's a bit of a delay now with somebody had mentioned something about this program saying that it was slowing down or something. So there's that link. Are you a money maker or money breaker? It was the first financial episode that we'd done to talk about money tracking and billing and stuff like that, you know. So anyways, oh, thanks, Detective Coatings. How was your night out? Sound like you were having fun. Just trying to catch up with all the chats here. If you can, come on and follow us at Rosscoat so that I can add you to this very lively chat that we have on Rosscoat. I've just pretty much, we're almost at, we need 4 more followers to make 100 powder coaters. And these are all powder coaters. And that's the reason why I split the two channels. It was time because I was starting to confuse my Maui Powderworks customers. And I talked to so many coders. So I just decided, F it, I'm just going to start a new one. And so I had one called Ross Coat that I'd reserved for Ross to get in for his personal friends, and he never took advantage of it. So I just turned it into our live, our live podcast channel and stuff. So, but I just want to say thank you. We've been on for a little over an hour, and I'm just so happy that you guys are here. And just, it's late Friday, or it's getting late Friday. It's only 12 o'clock here. We still got half the day to go through, but I just want to say thanks for sharing your time with us, and hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good week and you made some money. That's what, you can walk away with. We're all going to continue to get behind Steve with his, getting back to work kind of thing here. And I just want to say it's good to catch up with you, Steve.
Yeah. Well, I think conservatively, probably the end of July, beginning of August, I'll probably be back up and running in my shop.
That's good.
Part of it is going to depend on how fast I get my oven and spray booth from Columbia.
Yeah.
And I bit the bullet. Going 6x6x10. Because
yeah, I think that's a good size.
I'm constantly turning away. I've got a local dirt oval track that's like 7 miles from me. I get people calling about, their outlaw frames and their sprint cars and their quarter midgets, and I wasn't able to do them. And side-by-sides are huge in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done a lot of suspension stuff for side-by-sides, but, cages I couldn't do.
Yeah.
So 6x6
Those are
by
big
10,
money.
according to the specs that Polaris posts, I should be able to get a full frame for a 4-seater RZR in. So
Wow, that's pretty
um,
good.
yeah, yeah. And since the fire cleaned everything out, now I have a shop space that was formerly a workshop and storage for motorcycle parts and personal stuff. Now I have this space that I can actually make into a dedicated shop, powder coating shop. So it's going to be nice. Where I was thinking I needed to expand because I didn't have room, now I have a buttload more room that I didn't think I had.
It's an unfortunate way to get a clean slate, isn't it?
It's not the most fortunate way. I don't recommend it to anyone. I really don't. But if something like that happens and you want to go crawl off in a corner and die, you just got to start thinking that there's always a brighter end and look for it.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to be able to expand my capabilities and just, I think, make the shop a lot stronger in the end of all of this. So
Yeah, I just
so
want to
there are
bring up your
definitely
channel here.
Very good.
there are definitely some silver linings in that cloud.
And you have a lot of friends on Facebook. You're always helping everybody. You're in there every day, even, even despite all of this. Everybody go follow Deep Stage. Are you on Instagram too?
Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't posted much lately because I haven't really had anything to post.
Right.
But another thing, I don't know exactly how to bring this up, but especially for people that are fairly new and they're just getting established, networking, and not just social media networking locally is very, very important.
Yeah.
And if anybody is listening to this and is involved with Business Networking International or know what that is, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you don't,
BIN, right? BIN?
BNI.
BNI. That's it. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. It's an international organization, but they have local chapters all over the United States. And the beauty of it is you meet weekly with other business owners. And that opens up avenues that you may not have thought of because those business owners become your marketers.
That's true. I have attended a couple of them. Well, this was way back when. It seemed like when I went, it was like all the people that were in there were just realtors. And it could just be my area. I don't know, right?
Well, the way BNI works is you can only have one professional classification in a chapter.
Okay.
So you can only have one realtor in a chapter.
Okay. Well, they broke
technically
that
you
rule.
could have two. You could have somebody that does residential, and you could have somebody that does commercial.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, you're going to get in every chapter. There's probably going to be a realtor. There's probably going to be a lawyer.
I mean, you want variety, right?
Yeah.
And realtors aren't all bad.
Yeah. No, they're not. They're really not. I've actually gotten some good business from the realtor in my group.
Yeah.
People that bought houses that had things that they wanted to have redone.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, that's the referral source that you don't really think of. And it's not terribly expensive for
I agree
a year.
with you. Yeah.
But if anybody is listening to this on Instagram or any other place that this is on, if they're interested in it, send me an email at deepstagecoatings@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
If you want to have a phone call, I can sit down and talk to you about what BNI does. I can also kind of find out where you're at and maybe find a couple local chapters that you could go and visit, just to kind of get a feel for what it's about.
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed, Rob, there's going to be one in your area.
I was going to say, I'm interested. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I for us, I'm not sure. Like I said, I attended a few, but it just seemed like it was just a bunch of realtors and flooring people, and or people that just wanted to sell me a product, which is fine, but it wasn't anything that I could expand into, like how it worked out for you, Steve. So I'm glad that,
Yeah.
and we're, our economy is always sort of slighted towards tourism, and that not necessarily like helps us out, right?
Right.
But I agree with you. And realtors are good. I'm not saying they're bad, but like, because they are connectors of people and they meet all kinds of people. So
Yeah.
they should be vitally important to like a BNI group for sure.
Yeah. Well,
So I'm glad you brought that up.
the people that in my group that have been the best referral sources are in the service industry. Our electrician, the electrician that's in our group, the pest control guy that's in our group, the realtor, the plumber, and the insurance agent.
Yeah, those are all
They
key things you need.
they see people every day, and they talk to people, and they get into conversations, and when they get to know you and what your business does, then when something comes up in conversation, it kind of triggers something in their mind, and you get the, hey, I know a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really is.
Yeah.
It's a really good I know a guy. It's not.
No, it's a good referral. Yes, I know
Yeah.
what you mean. Yeah.
It's not my buddy can do it cheaper. It's I know
it's
a
word
guy.
of mouth referring. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody knows that referrals are always better business than somebody that just walks off the street. At least to begin with.
Yeah, I would agree so far. Yeah.
So it may not be for everybody, but if anybody's interested, please send me a message, send me an email, and I'd be happy to at least try and find a local chapter and get you invited in, and see what you think.
I think that's excellent
That's cool.
advice, and something that's always easily overlooked, from a business perspective. So I'm glad you mentioned it, because I think the go-to for most people is just social media, right? And one of the things when I originally talked to Rob last week on his email to me was like, I remember Danielle saying something like, the minute you start paying for ads, they're going to block you from being successful organically with posts and stuff on Facebook and Google, because once they have you in their clutches paying that 500 or that 250 a month or whatever you're paying, and yeah, if you think about it, okay, a set of rims is probably about that much. I can do at least one set of rims to offset the costs. They're going to give you a lesser return for any organic reach, because it makes sense, right? They want you to keep paying to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so by suppressing your organic reach, that's how they continue to take money from you as an ad. So when you have to do ads, make sure it's one of the last. It's not that it's. Make sure it's done well, and I use a professional. Like Danielle usually helps me with my ads when I do them, and because she knows the route arounds on that. But you also have to know what are you doing? Are you wanting an awareness ad or an engagement ad, right? And awareness ads is just getting on the map. Like, do people even know that there's a caliper coater in, Buckeye, Arizona, right? Or a powder coater in Indiana. What are the powder coaters in Indiana? So
it's really important with ads to drill down on your demographics.
Yeah.
And be as absolutely specific as you can in those.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you don't really want to post an ad that is shown to somebody in New Jersey if you're in Arizona.
I hate those kind. I just delete them
Yeah. And
because,
so, and
they're,
you can control that somewhat. You can control that somewhat by spending a lot of time going through those keywords and your location areas.
mhm.
And I personally, I ran, and they're paused right now, but I have one ad that has 6 different pictures. So there's six separate ad sets, but I spent $5 a day,
That's
and that was
great.
all. That was my limit, $5 a
Yep.
day. And with time, the ad improves the longer that it
Mhm.
runs.
Mhm.
And I would get 4 to 5, sometimes 10 hits a week,
That's
with
great.
a conversion rating in the 50 to 60% range.
Whoa.
And
That's
they were
awesome.
quality hits.
Yeah. No, you're in that range. 10% should be the is what you're shooting for. So the fact that you got that much is incredible. You must, and that's
Yeah.
probably a
And you'll get
carousel.
your tire kickers.
Yeah,
You'll get your
carousel
tire
ad.
kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
my
you get a whole lot
information
more
was
tire
sold.
kickers by you get a whole lot more tire kickers by trying to do the free Facebook Marketplace ads.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a waste. No, Google Ads pissed me off because my phone blew up either with phone calls or text messages of solicitation for SEO, and there was like 0 hits for business. It was
Mhm.
all solicitation. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I paused it because until I get a better handle on it, it's not worth the aggravation.
Yeah, and I mean, how did you feel when I told you that? Like you're actually hurting yourself by doing ads.
Right. So you really got to know what you're doing and how to target it in order to be successful at it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I could throw money at it left and right and end up empty pocketed, and or so yeah, there's this, it comes back to strategy, right?
Right. Right. So, uh I was surprised when she said that, but that's the reason why you want to go to Danielle and her online webinar. I'm telling you, it's like
Yeah.
one more thing. It's like you want to stay in the know and go to her show or go to her webinar, whatever we're doing. I think it's on the 29th. She is definitely knows what she's talking about. I miss her. She moved away from Maui during the pandemic, and we haven't had a chance to. I think she's been on the show once before, but um, I just owe everything that I know to her. Of course, I know the ins and outs of powder coating, but she's the one that kind of taught me the overall perspective of how to look at social media and stuff like that. So
Nice.
definitely one to follow up with, and she makes it so easy. And I did one on analytics for my website, and I got all my analytics converted over to analytics 4, and got out from the universal analytics. And there's no way I could have figured that out without attending her show. And some of the other episodes that we've done have been talking about Google business pages and Facebook. The latest, she always usually gives us the latest updates. We even did one a couple months ago on AI. As soon as the chat GDP stuff started becoming kind of more prevalent, she went through and how to use the AI chat bots to create your brand, right? So, and some of the things to do it. So you don't have to sit there and think about how are you going to present this video that you took, right, Rob? Like you're putting out a video on, say, this is how I do this. Just type in some key phrases of the topic, put it in the chat GDP, and say, act as a marketing director for social media or something like that, and tell me what to say in this video.
Interesting.
Right? So now you're just reading from a script, right?
Okay.
Pretty
I'll have to
soon
play
we'll
with
just
that.
be able to put the video in there and then say, create a script around this video.
Fix it for me.
Yeah.
Make it better. Make it pop.
Just that one video I posted, it kind of went viral actually, but just that one video. I mean, I did that on Reels, and it took me, some stuff can just take me like 10 minutes, and other stuff, like some of the other stuff I posted, like this one on this one here that I did on hot flocking. Oh, sorry. That one, it took me 2 days to do that one. Some of the other ones, it's some of them are hard, and other ones are like this one took me 10 minutes. And of course I tagged Scott Coates and a couple of other people in there, and it just kind of went crazy and viral and stuff. And now we've got a new one we're going to make too. So, think about like how you can use other people's content to create your own content. I guess that's my advice today, is when you see someone like somebody's reel or whatever, and then go into the comments and look, even Prismatic or Columbia or Tiger, whatever, when you see the comments that are coming through, think about what kind of angle you can take off of those comments and create a new video around it. That's what we're doing.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So like if it's a caliper video on Prismatic that somebody else did, now Danielle's course will probably be about just taking that content and remastering it or recreating it. But I'm just saying content ideation, right? Somebody says a comment about calipers on somebody else's post, you pick up on that. Could be a customer like complaint or worry or concern or something like that, and you say, well, I can create a video around that. Now you're attracting content or creating content around that is a relative problem or concern for potential customers.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to just sit there and go duh all day long, right? What do I do? Right? You don't have to do that. You can actually just utilize the content that's being generated by others to.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm not out of ideas yet, but at some point I will be.
Yeah.
So that'll help for sure.
Well, guys, guess what? I have to go to a doctor's appointment. So I'm going to head off and get going to this appointment. And I just want to say, Steve, it's good to catch up with you. I'm so glad you came on. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes. Nice to meet you, Steve. Sorry about your situation there.
Hey, it's going to be better in the end. So
it is.
Right.
It sounds like it is.
It's a great attitude. Good.
I have to say, when I did see the photo that you took after the fire, I was like, damn, I thought his oven was bigger than that. So it's funny that you're getting you're getting a bigger oven, because
it was 4 by 6 by 6 and expandable 4 by 6 by 8.
Oh, okay. So it looked kind of small in the building, but then I know it was fire damage and it was hard to see, but
yeah.
I know how busy you are, and I was like, I guess what I was kind of computing in my mind was, wow, I thought his oven was a little bigger than that because you're just so busy all the time,
Yeah, I wouldn't say so busy, but busy enough.
Busy enough for a home business, yes. You don't want to be dragging to work every day just because you're tired and, from doing too much stuff. So, yeah, that's the convenience of working from home, right? And I didn't know that you work from home, Rob.
Yeah, similar situation, Steve. I have an acre and I've got a shop in the back of my property that I conduct everything out of, so it works out great. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, that's great. Well, it's nice because you don't have to pay that big rent that we have to every month.
Yeah. I'd like to get it out of here, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Get close enough, you will, maybe. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I appreciate the time. We're still live on Instagram, but I certainly appreciate everybody that joined us today. We will post this again, the live. I'll edit it and post it live tonight on our podcast, so you'll be able to listen to it again. And thanks. Yeah, have a great weekend.
Great. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
All right. Aloha.
Bye.
Bye.
Aloha.